for the weekend. Okay. It's a nice, do it, guys, 60 points. So if you're worried about your grading here, or you're trying to get it up a level, 60 points. It's a take-home test.
Oh.
Okay? All right, so listen, these are the last questions. I'm going to give you Eisenhower. You can use last names only is fine, or acronyms. Okay? Now, the last question on the test is what? Joe Biden. The second to last question on the test is Trump. The third to last question. Okay? Got this? Okay. Lizzie, you should be writing that down. Yeah?
Wait, so what are we doing exactly?
What do you mean? What are we doing exactly?
The take-home test.
It's just like your other tests. You go home, you fill it out. You bring it back to me on Tuesday. Now today, I am going to talk about final. Okay? Final has 19 matching. Those are all names. Okay?
Wait, can you wait for me to get up?
19 matching, all names, 21 multiple choice, 15 true and false with 1 point each, 15 fill in the blank. And then this. Okay, so it's total of 83 questions. All right, let me see if I can jog your memory. Hi.
Hi. Said it was 60 points, right?
The take-home test is 60
Oh.
points.
Okay. I thought you said the final was 60.
The final's 83.
Okay.
Yeah. But that'll be out of 100%.
So it's 1 point each for every single question.
On the take-home test.
On the final.
Yes, but then I'll average it. I'll turn it into a percentage. Whereas in your other stuff, it's total points. This is 83 questions, and you'll either make like a 75%, 85%, 95%. I'll divide, 83. How many miss?
Is that making it easier or harder for us to get a better grade?
I mean, it could be 100 questions, and then it would be 1 point, See how many ever you miss, that would be your percentage. I don't understand the confusion.
You said you were making it 100, but it's 80 questions.
It's 83 questions. I'll turn that into a percentage of what percentage you got right.
That's like if you miss one, then it'll be like a 90-something%. I thought you were saying you were making it.
It's weighted 10%. We're good.
Yeah. That was worded very weird.
It's making me hot. These questions. It's awkward. Okay.
I wasn't looking.
It's okay. I kept my shirt
I
down.
know.
I want to scare people.
You're getting the 225 by Christmas.
I'm working out today, brother. You're looking good, honestly. Getting huge. Swole. Hey, what are you doing? Well, wonderful. Was it going to distract him?
Oh, it's open. It's just some cheese and stuff like that.
Did your mom bring that for you?
Yeah, we having a party next hour.
And you forgot to get it,
Yeah,
so you called your mom?
yeah. And then my mom had called her friend. My mom couldn't do it, so my mom's friend.
You better thank her.
Yeah, I will.
All right. This guy became president in 1928. They called him the Great Engineer. And we've only had 2 presidents that were engineers. The other one was this guy, Jimmy Carter. Who was it? No? It's one of those 3 guys back there. Herbert Hoover was an engineer. They called him the Great Engineer. All right. This guy came up with the term fascism. Mussolini, good lily. This guy said, we have Pete, M-U-S-S-O-Lini, L-I-N-I. Okay. This guy said, we have peace in our time. And don't say Churchill. No. British Prime Minister before Churchill said, we have peace in our time. Neville Chamberlain. This guy proposed and implemented the good neighbor policy. FDR. This goes way back. Attorney General who fought hard to rid the nation of communists in the 1920s. They called him Paranoid Palmer. Mitchell Palmer was the Attorney General, tried to get rid of the communists in our country. That was the first Red Scare. The Desert Fox. Rommel. Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox. North Africa. This guy kept his promise of returning to the Philippines. Arthur. Now, guys, there's several that are on your last test to take home that are on here. Okay? And I told you guys on that take-home test, if you play that video, it's an honors review. It's on my YouTube channel for the 21 A and B review, test review. It goes over the test, a lot of the test. So if you watch that while you have the test, you can answer a lot of it, or you can just look the crap up. Some of it you'll know. Some of it you'll be able to answer without doing anything. Okay? But it's maybe the ones you don't know. Like everybody knows who came to power over Cuba in 1959. Castro. So like you'll be able to answer that on that test and on the final. Castro took over Cuba in 1959. This guy, I'm quoting, we will never surrender. And he also gave the Iron Curtain speech. Churchill.
Iron Curtain.
Yep, that's true. There. Let's see. Okay. This guy kept his promise of returning to the Philippines.
We already did that.
Who was it?
The Crawford.
Okay. You remember something called the Adjusted Compensation Act? It was something we helped our veterans after World War I. It had a nickname. The Adjusted Compensation Act was the bonus bill. Thank you, Ben. The bonus bill was the Adjusted Compensation Act. Remember something called the Five Power Treaty? Limited the size of navies. U.S., Great Britain, France, Italy, and Japan. You remember which one broke that treaty? France. Five Power Treaty. French were the first to break it. Page 2. Let's talk about stock market. So, in 1929, October, there was Black Thursday and Black Tuesday. Which one was first? Black Thursday was first, 24th. Now, on that day, when the market began to drop, J.P. Morgan and a bunch of bankers invested like $240 million buying up stock. What was the immediate impact of that?
Flushed the stock market.
It rebounded. Temporarily, it went up. And then over the next couple of days, and then Tuesday it crashed, right?
So what from that should be just the whole thing
That the market rebounded.
on Black Thursday.
Yep. What's the best way to create inflation? Let's ask Joe Biden. Yeah, print more money. Let's stay on the stock market here for a second. Because of the stock market crash under Roosevelt and New Deal, they created this new government agency to regulate the stock market. What was that called? What? You say F or S? S. SEC. Like Southeastern Conference? Securities and Exchange Commission. What's the update, Jack? Party. We're shutting that crap down. It ain't happening. See, we got our own group chat.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's got like 15 teachers on it.
You guys having a party?
No, we're not having a party. We're stopping the parties. Now, we got some people like, hey, can we just please make an example out of a kid? Like, you know, so that the other kids aren't idiots?
You guys scheming something up?
I don't know. Let's see. Now, I have no power, so just pee on. Okay. Any guys, you know what lame duck is? Remember which amendment shortened the time period between the election and inauguration?
Nope.
Stop right there. 20th. 20th Amendment's the lame duck amendment.
We have to know what it does. explain the lame duck.
There's no explaining anything.
We don't have to write anything.
No, it's all
We don't have, like,
it's all
we don't
multiple
have to-
choice. matching,
No
fills
correcting
in,
false.
false. Okay. Back to World War II. Britain and France would not enter World War II till the invasion of which country? Is it A, Poland, B, Norway, C, Czechoslovakia, or D, Belgium? Poland. Okay, once Germany invaded Poland, Britain and France declared war.
That was for World War II.
Yes, ma'am. So, remember the Yalta Conference? Who was there? Big three. Yep. Churchill, Stalin, and Roosevelt, which would be Britain, Russia, and the United States. Page 3. This is on your test that I'm about to give you. Who helped North Korea push back the Americans after our furthest advance? Yeah, the Chinese. In which city was the National Guard called in to protect against violence when 9 black students attempted to enter the high school? Little Rock. Let's
Wait,
talk
Little-
about it. The Little Rock 9. Just know that. This guy was named Chief Justice of the United Supreme Court, 1953 to 69. Was it A, Earl Warren, B, Henry Kissinger, C, John Marshall, or D, Lewis Carroll?
John Marshall.
Earl Warren. We talked about that yesterday. What? 53 to 69.
Did he die?
Yeah, he probably did. Yeah. Most Supreme Court justices will stay on until they die. Most of them don't retire. Especially if the president that's in office is different than they are, they don't like to leave. Yeah. All right, here's a new one. Hadn't heard this one before. In what year were the states Hawaii and Alaska added to the Union? Was it 1949, 57, 59, or 60?
49.
Hawaii and Alaska were added to the Union in 1959. Last time we added a state. The most likely one would be Puerto Rico. But I don't know. We'll see. The 21st Amendment repealed the 18th Amendment.
Not drinking. That's drinking.
Yes, both of them. Is it true?
Yes.
True. That is a true statement. 21st repealed the 18th. After World War I, the Allies, that's us, stayed in Eastern Europe to help bolster or give aid to the Red Army against the White Army. Why is that false? Yeah, we're not going to help the Red Army. We tried to help the White Army. During the 1920s, life expectancy would rise. True. The Lend-Lease Act would lend supplies to Britain on the belief they would pay us back. True. Anybody remember the name of the operation that the Nazis had to invade Britain? Operation Sea Lion. Not Sea Horse. Sea Lion. Now, Italy in World War II. Did Italy stay in to the end, or did they get out earlier? They got out earlier. Would it be a true statement to say that the hydrogen bomb is 500 times more powerful than the ones we dropped on Hiroshima? Yes, that would be a true statement. The TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority. What kind of question is that? Yeah. What's next? What's next? Oh, I gotta go back to one. Okay. When Roosevelt made addresses on the radio, they were called what? Fireside chat. Okay. Page 4. The Blank Pact split up Czechoslovakia and gave Hitler the Sudeten unit pact. Found these yesterday. Okay. Who were the bad guys in World War II? Germany, Italy, Japan. What do we call them, Peter? The Axis power. This is on your test today. The Blank Amendment to the Constitution allows the president to only serve 2 terms. What amendment? 222, 22, 22nd. 2 terms. This is also on your test today. NATO. North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. NAACP. On your test today. National Association for the advancement of colored people. 8 words, 5 letters. National Association for the advancement of colored people. Okay, I got a couple here that I haven't covered before that are on the file. Okay. JFK, that's John F. Kennedy, Jack Kennedy, or John F. Kennedy. His nickname was Jack. His name was John. Usually a nickname like shortens it, right? Gracias.
Thank you.
Who did he appoint, John F. Kennedy, who did he appoint as his attorney general? I'll give you a hint. Nepotism. You guys know what nepotism is? It's when you give a job to somebody in your family.
Other?
Brother, Bobby Kennedy. Okay. Now, JFK, guys, was the youngest president elected in American history. Now, he wasn't the youngest president we ever had. He's the youngest elected. Does anybody know who the youngest president we ever had? Speak softly and carry a big stick. Teddy Roosevelt, who took over from McKinley when he was assassinated, was our youngest president. JFK is the youngest elected, and he's going to choose his younger brother, Bobby, as the attorney general. He's just a few years removed from law school. Qualified? Probably not. So people came down on JFK and said, "What's up with this, JFK? Why are you nominating your brother for this?" And so what JFK did, he used humor to make the issue go away. He said this when asked about it. He said, I see nothing wrong with giving my brother a little bit of legal experience before he goes out to practice law. People laughed and went away. He was actually a pretty tough attorney general. He went after, you know who he went after? Went after the mafia. Yeah, which, depending on which conspiracy theory you believe in, could have gotten his brother killed. Police arrested who for JFK's assassination? Lee Harvey Oswald.
We didn't know that?
Oswald, yes. Oswald was arrested for the assassination of JFK. Now, shortly after his arrest, Oswald was murdered. Yes? By Jack Ruby. Jack Ruby, which you don't need to know for the test, had ties to who? The mafia. Which hence the conspiracy theory. Now, have any of you guys ever seen the movie JFK by Oliver Stone? He's the director. Seen it? It's pretty good. Now, it's not based in fact. Okay, it's Oliver Stone. He does this. Okay, he also did Platoon. But now, it's a really good movie. Now, some people think maybe Oswald was connected to the Russians. He lived in Russia. He was a communist. Okay. Biden just released some new classified files on the JFK assassination. And one of the things, not a lot came out, but that Oswald was linked to the KGB, the Soviet secret police. Okay. Now, my conspiracy is this guy was behind it. Johnson was his vice president. They did not get along. As the current president and vice president, I don't know if you guys have been hearing about this, but Biden and Harris aren't really getting along. Okay? Same thing with Kennedy and Johnson. Where was Kennedy assassinated? Dallas, Texas. Where's Johnson from? He's from Texas. Okay? I don't know. Was it the Russians using Oswald as a stooge? Was it the mob? The vice president, who was the son of a gun. Yeah, Johnson he's a political machine. He's a tough, nasty politician. He'll roll right over you. Hey, how are you? Reviewing for the finals. Okay. All right, that's it. Okay, so here. Now while we're talking about this, let's just talk about it real quick. Got this up here. Let's just have some fun with this, okay? Because we didn't get to really talk about a lot of this. All right, so I'm going to give you Eisenhower, right? Was Eisenhower a Republican or a Democrat? He was a Republican, okay? Now, we didn't really know, okay? But he's a Republican, okay? You don't need to know this for the test. JFK, Republican or Democrat? Lyndon Johnson, Democrat. Nixon, Republican. Ford replaces Nixon, so he's a Republican. Carter, Democrat. Peanut farmer from Georgia and engineer. Reagan, Republican. Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama. Okay, now let's go in a little more detail here, okay? Now, Eisenhower, what was he before he became president? But yeah, he was the head of NATO. He ran NATO, and before that, he was a general. He had never been elected to office before. Okay, but he was a public servant since he was a soldier, yes. Okay, so he's a citizen at this point. Okay, which we will not elect another citizen until who? Trump. Okay, now, so he's a citizen. What was JFK when he was elected? Anybody know? He was a senator. Okay, now, on this list, you're not going to find any more members of Congress until who? Obama. We don't elect members of Congress very often, guys, because they have voting records and they're very easy to criticize. Okay, and they tend to be more political, where what we do elect are vice presidents and governors. Okay, so let's go through this. LBJ was what? Kennedy's what? VP, right? All right, Nixon, what was he? He was Eisenhower's what? He was Eisenhower's vice president for 8 years. Before that, he was governor of California. So he's a VP. That was the last office he held. Ford, VP. He took over for Nixon. Okay. Carter's what? He's a Southern governor from Georgia. Okay. Reagan, governor, California. Okay. Bush, Reagan's vice president. Clinton, Southern governor from Arkansas. Okay. Bush, the son, Southern governor, Texas. So right here, Southern governor, Southern governor, Southern governor. Next, DeSantis, Florida. That's who I'm pulling for. Okay, I know it's a long way away.
Is that the make shirt that everyone?
I don't
Something about Florida.
Make America Florida.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Is that the
It
same?
worked.
Is that
Take
the
it.
same?
I haven't heard that. Okay. Obama was a senator. Trump was a citizen. Private citizen. And Biden was, his last held office was vice president. Okay. So he's kind of like Nixon. Nixon ran against Kennedy and lost. He had been vice president here, comes back 8 years later. Biden was vice president here, comes back 4 years later. Okay, there's a little bit of a gap. Okay. Biden didn't run in 2016. Or he might have ran, he didn't get the nomination. Hillary got the nomination. Yeah. Oh, he's run several times. Yeah.
So, like, Reagan, governor of California, was California Republican?
The last time Republicans won California was here. Bush in '88. That was the last time Republicans won California. The West was pretty conservative. Now it's very liberal. Yeah, I mean, Washington, Oregon, those used to be red states.
I feel like it's just like the coast.
There's something in the water. No, in government, we'll talk about a lot about this, but Reagan won 49 states in 1984. Nixon won 49 states in 1972. Can you imagine that today? Having a candidate so popular they would win 49 of the 50 states? It's freaking crazy, man. So Reagan was really popular and Nixon was really popular. But the economy went south on Nixon, which made him vulnerable. And then you had the Watergate scandal and, you know, he was paranoid and behaved badly. Yeah. Okay. All right, so you guys, can you handle this? The final's not super hard. Obviously, might be some questions you don't know. I gave you a lot of help right there. Okay. Peace.